Hi guys. Today we're going to read Anna in Seedfolks. This is the second chapter in the book and it starts on page 5. So if you have your books, open them up and you can read along with me. And if for any reason you don't have your book, then the text is here. Just read the text in the presentation. Here we go. As you read Anna's chapter, I'd like you to consider how the author is portraying her particular voice and point of view. And I think if an author does a good job, they're not always going to show you characters who are perfect, right? Because human beings are not perfect. We all have our flaws. So think about what is specific and particular about Anna and the way she sees things. And you might also think about how she's different from Kim. Okay, here we go. This is Anna speaking. I do love to sit and look out the window. Why do I need TV when I have 48 apartment windows to watch across the vacant lot and a sliver of Lake Erie? I've seen history out this window so much. I was 4 when we moved here in 1919. The fruit sellers' carts and coal wagons were pulled down the street by horses back then. I used to stand just here and watch the coal brought up by the handsome lad from Groza, the village my parents were born in. Gibb Street was mainly Romanians back then. It was "Adio, goodbye" in all the shops when you left. Then the Romanians started leaving. They weren't the first or the last. This has always been a working class neighborhood. It's like a cheap hotel. You stay until you've got enough money to leave. A lot of Slovaks and Italians moved in next. Then Negro families in the Depression. Gibb Street became the line between the blacks and the whites, like a border between countries. I watched it happen through this very window. And I just want to point out that there's some language there that you and I probably wouldn't use today, but the author is trying to portray this character who's of a certain generation. And so that's how she speaks. Okay. I lived over in Cleveland Heights for 18 years. Then I moved back in to take care of my parents. That border moved too. Most all the whites left. Then the steel mills and factories closed and everybody left, like rats. Buildings abandoned. Men with no work. Drinking from 9 to 5 instead down there in the lot. Always the sirens, people killing each other. Anna continues. Now I see people from Mexico and Cambodia and countries I don't know. 12 people sometimes in one apartment. New languages in the shops and on the street. These new people leave when they can, like the others. I'm the only one staying. It's so, staying and staring out this same window. This spring, I looked out and I saw something strange. Down in the lot, a little black-haired girl hiding behind that refrigerator. She was working at the dirt and looking around suspiciously all the time. Then I realized she was burying something. I never had children of my own. but I've seen enough in that lot to know she was mixed up in something she shouldn't be. And after 20 years typing for the parole department, I just about knew what she'd buried. Drugs, most likely, or money, or a gun. The next moment, she disappeared like a rabbit. I thought of calling up the police. Then I saw her there the next morning, and I decided I'd solve this case myself. So at this point in the story, you should probably be thinking about whether Anna is right or if she's making a big mistake in what she's assuming, right? And if you've read the first chapter, you should be able to put two and two together and figure that out. Okay, we're on page 8 now. We had a long spell of rain then. I didn't set eyes on her once. Then the weather turned warm, and I saw her twice more, always in the morning on her way to school. She was crouched down with her back to me, so I couldn't see just what she was doing. My curiosity was like a fever inside me. Then one morning, she was there, glancing about, and she looked straight up at this window. I pulled my head back behind the curtain. I wasn't sure if she'd seen me. If she had, she wouldn't leave her treasure buried long. Then I knew I'd have to dig it up before she did. I waited an hour after she left. Then I took an old butter knife and my cane and hobbled down all 3 flights of stairs. I worked my way through that awful jungle of junk and finally came to her spot. I stooped down. It was wet there and easy digging. I hacked and dug, but didn't find anything except for a large white bean. I tried a new spot and found another, then a third. Then the truth of it slapped me full in the face. I said to myself, "What have you done?" 2 beans had roots. I knew I'd done them harm. I felt like I'd read through her secret diary and had ripped out a page without meaning to. I laid those beans right back in the ground as gently as sleeping babies. Then I patted the soil as smooth as could be. The next morning she was back. I peeked around the curtain. She didn't look up here or give any sign that she noticed something wrong. I could see her clearly this time. She reached a hand into her school bag. Then she pulled out a jar, unscrewed the lid, and poured out water onto the ground. That afternoon, I bought some binoculars. And that's the end of the chapter on page 10. Okay, a few things to think about. What did you notice about Anna? How would you describe her? How is she different from Kim? What is her relationship to the neighborhood? What did she see from her window? What details connect with events from the previous chapter about Kim? And then also think about this. Does Anna make a mistake or form the wrong opinion about anything? Does she discover or realize anything important? And if you answered yes to either or both of those questions, think about what that does to the story. Does that make the story more interesting if the character is wrong about something, if they're making a mistake. And if the reader knows that the character is wrong about something, does that maybe make the story a little more exciting or a little more interesting somehow? Okay. Are you ready to take the quiz? When you are, you can find it in the quizzes and tests folder at the bottom of the list. The new quizzes always seem to go to the very bottom of that list. You can also find a link to every quiz at the announcements. All right. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.